everyone, and welcome again to my channel. Today we are going to solve another Leetcode question number 56, and it is marked medium. Given an array of intervals where intervals of I is another array, start I end I, merge all overlapping intervals and return an array of the non-overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals in the input. What this basically means is that we'll be given an input such as this, which is an array of numbers, right? Each array within the given array will contain two numbers. The first will represent the the start of the interval, and the second will represent the end of the interval, right? Now if you look at these intervals, you'll see that the first interval is starting from 1 and ending at 3, and the second interval is starting from 2 and ending at 6. So that means the second interval is starting from the middle of the first interval, right? Because 2 lies between 1 and 3, right? So that means these two intervals can be represented by one interval only, which is from 1 to 6, right? So we have to merge the two intervals into one and return it in the final answer. That's the question. It is very simple to understand and very simple to implement. Let's just do a dry run first and then we'll get to the code, right? So copy paste this, right? So this is our array input. Now what we are going to do is take an I index, right? We'll take an I index and we'll start it from the beginning, not from the beginning of this input. We'll take another array which will be our answer array, right? Answer will be an empty array, right? Answer will be an empty array. And what we'll initially do is, imagine this is the answer array, we'll say that it will initially contain the first array of this, right? And the I will be here. Okay, so why am I saying this? Because the first array must be in the answer, right? Even if we merge 1 and 6, right, the 1 will still be there, or we can say the first array is there, right? So that means initially our answer will always contain the first array. Done. And so we'll begin I from 0. We'll begin I from 0. Now what will we do? We will also traverse this input array. Okay, we'll not take any pointers there, but let's take a j pointer there. Okay, let's take a j pointer and we'll say we'll start from this one. Why? Because we have already taken the first one, right? We have already taken the first array in the answer, so we'll start from the second one. Okay, now what will we compare? We will compare the end of the first array, or the current array that we have, the end of that array with the starting of the next array. If the end of that array is larger than or equal to the start of the second array, we can merge those arrays, right? And in this case we see that it is indeed 3 is larger than 2, larger than equal to 2, right? So that means we can merge the first and the second array together. How will we merge it, right? So merging basically means keep the first index, remove this index because this no longer exists in the merge, and use the last index because the interval will go from the starting of this to the end of this, right? That means we'll remove 3 and use 6 instead, and when we do that we'll move j forward. We'll still keep I at 0, right? Because in the next interval or in the near future we might encounter an array whose start index might be less than 6, right? This array might still grow, right? The interval might still grow, so we'll keep the I here itself. Now I'll again check. We see that the 6 is now not greater than or equal to 8. That means we cannot merge this interval and this interval. We cannot merge it. So that means we'll have to append this interval in our answer, right? So we'll say this is fine, and we'll include a new array which is 8 to 10, and then we'll move I forward. Okay, we'll move I forward. So that means I becomes 1, right? Now the same logic continues. We'll compare, and j also moves forward. Sorry, I forgot to say that j also moves forward, and we'll compare with the last index of this and the first index of this. So 10 and 15, that is not greater than equal to 15. 10 is not greater than equal to 15. So we'll just include this array in our answer. So finally our answer becomes this, right? So this is our answer, and I moves here. Okay, j goes out of bound, and that's where we end our loop, and this is our final answer, right? And if we check, that is correct. 1 6 8 10 15 18. 1 6 8 10 15 18. Let's code this out. It is pretty easy. The code is also easy. Let's do that. We will first sort the array, right? We will first sort the array. Why? Because if you see this, it is unsorted, but the interval here is from 1 to 7, right? Because it is from 1 to 4 and 4 to 7. So the final interval should be from 1 to 7. But we cannot do that with our current logic because we are looping from left to right. And in that sense, we'll encounter 4 to 7 first. And we'll skip it because we have not yet encountered 1 and 4, right? So for our logic to work, the array should be sorted. So let's do that first. So I'll do sort dot slice, and I want to sort the intervals array. Custom function ij will be int, and will return a bool, right? And we'll return intervals of I of 0. That means the first index of the first array should be less than intervals of j of 0. That means this is basically comparing uh, the first index of this array with the first index of this array. So the array will be sorted based on the first index numbers, right? So 1 2 8 and 15, we are sorting based on that. So now the array is sorted. We'll create another array of int, and the first input for array answer, the first index of answer will be the first index of the intervals, right? So append answer with intervals of 0. Now we'll run the loop on intervals. So for underscore interval range intervals will run from the first index, not from the 0th, but the first index, because we have already included the 0th index in our answer, right? Now we'll check if answer of I of 1. Now what is this I? We'll have to take that I equal to 0. As I said, initially the I was 0, right? So we are taking that. If answer of I of 1 is greater than equal to interval of 0, as I said, we are comparing the second index of the answer array, current answer array, with the first index of the interval array, right? So that's what we are doing, 1 and 0. If it is, we'll have to extend the current array, right? So the current array is answer of I of 1 will become answer of I of 1 will become max of answer of I of 1 or interval of 1. Now what is this? This is quite an interesting logic which I found once I submitted the code. So what's happening is there might be an array or two arrays, right? 1 comma 7 and the second one being 2 comma 3, right? Now this, in this case, what I previously said was that we'll extend the array by removing this and basically replacing this here, right? But in this case it will be a fail. Why? Because 1 comma 7 is engulfing the whole of 2 comma 3. The whole interval of 2 comma 3 lies between 1 comma 7. So in a sense we are merging these two, but we should not make any change in 1 comma 7. The result of merging these two should be still 1 comma 7, right? So that means we should always replace this index of the current array with the maximum of these two. So 7 comma 3, the maximum of these two will be 7 and our answer will be 1 comma 7, right? So that's why we are using the max function here. Else if it is not increasing, that means we need to append the new array into our answer, right? So answer will become append answer comma the current interval that we are iterating through, and in this case we'll have to increase I as well because we have appended a new interval to the answer, so I should move forward as well. And finally we'll return answer. Let's try to run this. And it is working. Let's submit it. There is the mistake. It should be 1, not I comma I. And it is working. Great. This was a pretty easy question. It is marked medium, although if you understand the logic it's not that difficult, right? All we did was iterate through and compare which is greater and which is smaller, right? So yeah, that's it for this video. If you understood this question, give a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.